All right, everyone, welcome to the next presentation in our Webinar Wednesday series. Today, we are going to be discussing sustainable summers. So we are going to talk about some simple ways that you guys can live a little bit greener this summer while still having tons of fun. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we get started here. This webinar is being recorded, so if you're interested in sharing this with friends, this recording will be posted on our website by tomorrow afternoon, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. Also, if you have any questions along the way in the webinar, make sure you utilize the Q&A feature. We won't be using the chat feature, just the Q&A. We will have time at the end of our webinar today to talk about questions, but if there's questions that come up during the webinar, just put them in the Q&A section. This will be a bit of a shorter webinar. It'll probably be about 30 minutes, so there will be lots of time for questions at the end. All right. All right, well, my name is Zoe Jump. I am the education coordinator at Keep Greater Milwaukee Beautiful. Thank you guys all for being here today. Keep Greater Milwaukee Beautiful is a private nonprofit organization, and our mission is to promote sustainability through clean, healthy, and beautiful communities for generations to come. We do this through two ways. We do this through a lot of environmental education. We teach people of all ages about recycling, composting, water pollution, energy conservation, all of those environmental topics. And we also do a lot of beautification work in the greater Milwaukee area. We have a program called Big Clean MKE that allows anyone to check out litter cleanup supplies to do a litter cleanup in your neighborhood. We also have mobile tool sheds that larger groups can check out for the weekend. And if you're interested in learning more about our education programs or our beautification programs, you can visit our website to learn more. So let's get going on our Sustainable Summers Guide. Now, this would not be a Keep Greater Milwaukee Beautiful webinar without talking about recycling. We are obsessed with recycling here, so the first thing you can do to be more sustainable this summer is to recycle more and recycle right. Always make sure to check your local recycling guidelines before putting any items in your curbside recycling bin. If you live in the city of Milwaukee, make sure you visit the City of Milwaukee's recycling page. They have a lot of great material on there, such as a recycling directory, which is an easy to read guide that allows you to search for specific items that are in alphabetical order. Once you find your item, it tells you how and where to properly dispose of the items. Some of them may be recyclable, but a lot of them are not. So you can check out that recycling guide at the website right here. Make sure you check that out. Some top things that are not accepted curbside that are kind of summary items. The first one's going to be propane tanks. Propane tanks are a huge problem for recycling facilities. Many people think propane tanks are recyclable, but they are not. They cannot go in your recycling bin, and they cannot go in your garbage bin. Propane tanks are extremely dangerous to recycling trucks as well as the employees at the recycling facility. The propane tanks become compressed in the truck or in the machines at the facility, and they explode and they start the facility or the truck on fire. So think about a recycling facility, all of the paper that's inside of it, it can go up in flames pretty quick. So always make sure you ask if you can return your empty propane tank back to where you purchased it. You can also get a discount if you do this, so it's a really great option. And always just check with the manufacturing company on how to dispose of it properly if you're not close to a store that has those buyback programs. The next thing is hoses. If you are on the market for a new hose this summer and you want to get rid of your old hose, do not put your hose in your recycling bin. Hoses are considered tanglers because they can easily get caught in the recycling sorting equipment. This results in the machines getting really clogged up, and sometimes they have to shut down the machines to cut out all of those tanglers. Another one is going to be plastic bags. Do not put plastic bags in your curbside recycling bin. Always take those back to the retailer. And lastly is yard waste. Summer is obviously such a good time to do work on your garden, to trim your shrubs. You're mowing your lawn a lot. So a lot of people have a lot of grass clippings and yard waste. These also cannot go into your recycling bin. But I would say consider composting them instead. If you're interested in starting a compost bin, summer is a great time to do it. So always consider composting your yard waste, but do not put it in your recycling bin. Number 2 is picnics. Summer is the perfect time to go on a picnic in your backyard, your park, anywhere you want on a beautiful summer day. But there are a lot of picnic alternatives to make your picnic more sustainable. And the first thing is going to be single-use plastics. Instead of plastic sandwich bags or cling wrap, try checking out beeswax wrapping or reusable baggies. The pictures you see on the right here, these are all beeswax wrapping. They are much better for the environment because they're reusable. They're very easy to just rinse off and use over and over again. They're actually stickier than cling wrap, and they come in a bunch of fun patterns and colors, so very festive for the summertime. And then reusable baggies. You can find these at any store. You can find them online, on Amazon, and they're similar to that beeswax wrapping where you can simply just wash them out and use them over and over again. So just try and stay away from those single-use plastics. Also is try and pack real fruit. So if you have kids that really like those fruit pouches, try and pack real fruit or applesauce cups instead of those fruit pouches. Fruit pouches are unfortunately not recyclable, so it's much more sustainable to stay away from those. I know they're very convenient. Thirdly, try to always avoid anything disposable. So disposable plates, disposable cups, and especially disposable utensils. Disposable utensils or disposable cutlery is not recyclable whatsoever. It doesn't matter if it's clean, it is not recyclable. Most disposable cups are also not recyclable, and obviously if your disposable plate is dirty, you can't reuse it. So try and pack a reusable water bottle. Try and pack beverages that come in recyclable cans like aluminum or glass. And make sure to pack reusable plates and reusable utensils. Always things to keep in mind are those items that aren't recyclable. We talked about food pouches, but also chip bags. Chip bags are not recyclable, as well as any other type of wrapper. This could be a candy wrapper, a granola bar wrapper. If you are bringing vegetables and fruit scraps, maybe consider composting those instead of throwing them into the garbage. And lastly, always leave your spot cleaner than how you found it. So take time to clean up your community. You can always reach out to us here at KGMB about borrowing cleanup supplies through our Big Clean MKE program. Maybe after your picnic, you and your family can go pick up some litter around your local park. Our third is to drive less. spring and summer, even fall in Wisconsin are great times to not drive so much and to try biking or walking instead. Not only is it better for the environment to walk and bike to places, but it's really great for your health and it gets you outside. If you don't have a bike or maybe there aren't many places you can walk to easily, try taking the bus when you can, or try carpooling to work or to school with people who work in your office or other people that are in the same classes as you. A few easy things to try this summer are biking or walking to any local restaurants, carpooling to work just a few times per week, even that is great for the environment, and biking to the gym. This might seem weird, but biking to the gym is the best warm-up. Once you get there, you'll be ready to go for your workout. The photo at the bottom here is a great visual for driving less. So the first photo on the left-hand side is 40 people driving to work by car. Every person is driving their own car, they're not carpooling. The middle picture is 40 people by bus. So even just that, all those 40 people on one bus is really eliminating a lot of space on the road. And the third photo is 40 people by bike, which you can barely even see. So always try this summer to bike or take the bus instead. Number 4 is an oldie but a goodie, is line drying your clothing. On a warm, breezy, sunny day, line drying your clothing and your sheets is really great for the environment. It was actually determined that if all Americans line dried their clothing for just half the year, it would save 4% of the country's total residential output of carbon dioxide just by line drying their clothing. So it's really great for the environment, but it also will make your clothes smell really fresh. It's going to save you money because you're not using your dryer, you're decreasing your energy consumption, and you also don't need to buy any dryer sheets. Dryer sheets can add up quickly in the landfill, and they also sometimes can contain scents and dyes that can irritate your skin. So if you haven't tried line drying your clothing, I highly recommend it. Number 5 is watching your air conditioning usage. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, you could save as much as 10% on your energy bills by raising the temperature setting on your thermostat when you're not at home. So when you leave for work in the morning, if you do have a timer on your AC unit, you can set your timers to not run during the day or to run at a little higher temperature. And then when you get home in the afternoon, you can then turn your AC back down to your right temperature. This is a great option. If you're utilizing window AC units, always look out for the EER rating on the unit. This stands for Energy Efficiency Ratio. An EER rating of 12 is the highest you can get. If you have a very old, outdated window AC unit, maybe try looking for a newer model with a higher EER rating. And then always make sure that there are no cracks or crevices between your AC unit and your window. If you cover these up with cardboard or tape, it'll just keep that nice cool air in your house. If you don't have air conditioning or you want to really lower your energy use, try using fans. Ceiling fans are great for circulating airflow. Also, try opening your windows when it's cool enough outside. Opening windows circulates air, it brings in fresh air, and this can help with indoor air pollution like dust and mold, even cleaning supply chemicals. And fresh air can also eliminate odors from pets, or even if your house is starting to smell a bit stale, Open up those windows, especially in the morning time when it's nice and cool. Another thing you can do to watch your AC usage is installing dark insulating curtains. You can find these curtains anywhere, Target, Walmart, and these curtains keep the hot air out and keep the cool air in. Lastly is utilize your basement. If you have a nice, cold, dark, cool basement, take advantage of it and hang out in your basement instead of running your AC all day long. Number 6 is to eat local and organic. Summer is the perfect time to support local farmers and to support organic farmers. The reducing food miles is really great for the environment, and it helps local farmers, and it also keeps money in our local economy. The NRDC, which stands for the National Resources Defense Council, estimates that the average American meal includes foods from 5 different countries. That is a lot of food miles for one meal. And all these food miles really add up. The shipping of these foods increases air pollution, it increases greenhouse gas emissions. So it's really important to try and lessen your food miles and to support local farmers. There's a really good website called foodmiles.com. And you put in where you live, you put in what you're eating, and it will tell you how many food miles that food took to get to your dinner plate. And you would be amazed at some of the places your foods are coming from. So if you're interested in learning more about food miles, check out that website. Also, try and eat organic food. Organic agriculture uses non-synthetic pesticides, which are less energy intensive, and they are way less damaging to our environment. A couple things to try out this summer would be shopping at your local farmers market. There is nothing better than waking up on a Saturday morning and heading out to your local farmers market. They have a ton of interesting products to look through, and it just feels good to support local. Second is shopping at a co-op. 2 really great co-ops in Milwaukee that are local are the River West Co-op as well as Outpost Co-op. You can buy a lot of food here in bulk, which is less packaging, so it's better for the environment. Thirdly is joining a CSA program. CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. A CSA program is a partnership between a local farm and its community members. So prior to the growing season, those community members pay a sort of share fee to help the farmers kick off their growing season and to get their crops going for the season. In return for that fee, the members receive boxes of produce throughout the growing season. So you never really know what you're going to get, so it's kind of a fun surprise. CSAs in Wisconsin typically run from May to October, so you're getting a lot of good produce during the summer and even the fall. And some CSA boxes even come with a newsletter that include things like cooking tips. It tells you about the produce you're getting. It gives you some fun recipes, and it also gives you updates on the farm you're supporting. So CSA programs are a great way to stay connected and to support your local community. If you're interested in joining a CSA, you can just type in CSA Programs Milwaukee, and it will show you a pretty large list of CSAs in southeastern Wisconsin. I would highly recommend checking out these programs. And lastly is planting a garden. Planting a garden can really decrease those food miles we were talking about at the beginning of this slide. Instead of 500 miles to get your tomato, your food miles could be only a few feet. It could just be you walking out to your garden in your backyard. And we will talk about gardening in just a few slides. Some other things to note about eating local and organic is the Dirty Dozen list and the Clean 15 list. These are the most updated lists of the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. The Dirty Dozen refers to fruits and vegetables that have the most amount of pesticide residues on them. So most of the produce you're going to see on this list are things that have skins on them, like apples, grapes, pears, cherries, peaches, or things that have very delicate green leafy vegetables like spinach and kale. So always make sure you are washing your fruits and vegetables to get those pesticide residues off of them. Strawberries and spinach have been the worst offenders for the past 4 years. So always wash your strawberries and your spinach. And then we have our Clean 15 list. These are the fruits and vegetables with the least amount of pesticide residues on them. A lot of these things are encased in a tough outer skin, which saves the fruit or vegetable beneath it. So avocados, sweet corn, pineapple, papaya, things like that, honeydew, melon. There's also cauliflower, which has those leaves on it that protect it, and then onions and asparagus, which are mostly underground. So if you are interested in starting a garden this summer, maybe look towards the Dirty Dozen list and see what you could grow in your garden organically. Tomatoes are super easy to grow in your garden. Spinach only takes a few weeks to pop up in your garden. And things like kale and celery are also pretty easy as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. All right, let's talk about grilling. Grilling is people's favorite thing to do in the summer. My husband grills every single weekend. He loves it, and if you're anything like him, he will grill every single day. So grilling, there are 3 different options for grills. The first one is going to be a charcoal grill. Charcoal grills are the worst grills for the environment. If you do have a charcoal grill, try finding the purest form of charcoal. Natural charcoal is the best form. This has no added chemicals at all. And avoid using lighter fluid. Lighter fluid, unfortunately, contains really harmful, they're called volatile organic compounds. They're also referred to as VOCs. Every year, Americans burn approximately 46,000 tons of lighter fluid. This releases over 14,000 tons of those VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, into the atmosphere. So really, really try and avoid that yucky lighter fluid. If you can, try looking into a charcoal chimney. This is here on the right. This is just a Weber charcoal chimney. It lights up your charcoal without using lighter fluid, and these are fairly inexpensive. So check out charcoal chimneys. The second grilling type is a propane grill. Propane grills are much better for the environment than charcoal grills, as long as you're disposing of those propane tanks properly by either bringing them back to the store and replacing them with a full one, or by following the manufacturing instructions. Do not put those propane tanks in your recycling bin. Third, we have our natural gas grills. Natural gas is the greenest form of grilling. It is the cleanest out of all of the fossil fuels, and it also has a pretty high heat, so it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to cook things on a natural gas grill. They are a little bit more expensive than propane, but they're much better for the environment. So those are your 3 grilling options. A couple of things to keep in mind when grilling to be more green and better for the environment is to always brush off your grill grates when they're hot. This will prevent any flare-ups. Make sure you're cleaning your grill when it's cool with water and baking soda. And also take advantage of grilling vegetables. We all know that eating meat is not great for the environment, so it's always better when we can replace the meat with some vegetables. And grilled veggies are so delicious and they're so healthy. Some of my favorite grilled vegetables are sweet corn, Brussels sprouts, and peppers. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. Number 8 in our list for a sustainable summer is starting your own garden. Gardening is a perfect summer activity. It gets you outdoors. It is great for your health. It keeps you moving. It keeps you active. And it's also really fun to get your whole family involved in your garden. If you have limited space, try looking at raised garden beds. This photo on your right is a raised garden bed that I have here at our office. And this is full of a bunch of lettuce and spinach, super yummy. I just took this picture a few days ago. Or creating a container garden. So if you want to grow maybe just herbs or some smaller produce, you can just build a container garden pretty much out of anything. You can even use like a pot or a mason jar to make a container garden. You can really use as much or as little as you want for gardening. Always remember that some plants do better if they are started indoors and then you transplant them outside. So maybe starting the tomatoes in the springtime inside in a germination tray. That'll speed up the process when you get them in the ground. And always give your plants enough space to grow. There's always great instructions on your seed packet about how much light they need, how much space they need, and how much water they need. So read your seed packet carefully and try and plant some of those Dirty Dozen list plants. So here we have our spinach, which is number 2 on the Dirty Dozen list. And we also have tomatoes, which is on that Dirty Dozen list. These are both really easy to grow. Number 9, speaking of gardens, is watering wisely. Watering your plants early in the morning or just before dusk is the best time to water. You shouldn't be watering your plants in the heat of the day between 12 and 4. The early morning and the dusk are the coolest parts of the day, so the water will stay in the ground instead of being evaporated by the sun. Another option is to invest in a rain barrel. Rain barrels are fairly inexpensive, between $50 and $70, depending on where you get them. The Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District sells rain barrels if you're interested in investing in one. And all these do is collect your rainwater. The water is directed from the gutter into the rain barrel. You can also invest in a hose that can be attached for easy use of the water, and you can use this water to water your garden instead of using tap water. If you are watering your grass, some people use sprinklers to cover more ground of their grass. If you can, find a sprinkler that has a timer. They're a little bit more expensive, but it really keeps you mindful of how long it's been on. And then a couple other things to remember are native plants. Native plants are plants that are naturally residential to Wisconsin. They are used to our Wisconsin weather. They're used to how much it rains. They're used to our soil. So they have really adapted to the local conditions here. So they only need as much water as nature provides them, which means they're really, really no hassle plants. Native plants are great to add to your garden to attract pollinators. They attract other forms of wildlife, and they're also great in rain gardens. So always make sure to plant some native plants in your yard. And if you are watering with a hose, fix any leaky outdoor faucets. This will conserve water and will also save you money. And last but not least, number 10, which is probably my favorite one on the list, is to take a staycation. I know everyone is kind of itching right now to travel and to get out and about, but Milwaukee has some really great things to offer. And just planning a weekend or maybe a couple weekdays out in Milwaukee is a great way to feel like you're on vacation, but to stay local. So you're not getting on a plane, which is not great for the environment. You're not burning any gas to drive anywhere. You are just staying local. So grab your friends and family and experience what the Milwaukee area has to offer. If you're doing some biking, hiking, or swimming, you can go to any of the amazing natural areas around Milwaukee. My personal favorite spots to go are Grant Park and Havenwood State Forest. Check those out if you're interested in hiking or biking. The zoo is also a really fun place for not just kids, but any age of people. You can go visit the elephants, cool off with the reptiles, and you can ride the zoo train. Thirdly is go on a winery, brewery, or a cider tour. Milwaukee is the place for local craft beer. We have so many local breweries, and celebrating summer in Wisconsin with beer is the best way to do it. So go ahead and check out one of those local breweries. Another one is going kayaking. Kayaking is such a great form of exercise and allows such a different perspective and view of our beautiful city from the water. You can kayak on the Milwaukee River, you can kayak on the Menominee River, and if you are wanting to, you can even kayak on Lake Michigan. So lots of fun places to rent kayaks and tour Milwaukee by water. Another one is frozen custard. Milwaukee has so many spots for frozen custard. You could spend a whole day checking out all the frozen custard spots. My favorite is Kopp's. Their flavor of the day last night was strawberry cheesecake. Highly recommend. Dining outside is another fun way to take a staycation in Milwaukee. Milwaukee has so many restaurants with outdoor seating. They have patios, rooftop bars, a lot of restaurants on the water. Another one is flying a kite. Veterans Park is a great place to fly kites. You can either fly your own kite or you can sit back, bring a picnic, and watch all the fun and creative kites that are flying by. Really, whatever you choose to do this summer in Milwaukee, you really can't go wrong. Milwaukee has endless possibilities for staycations. So I hope I gave you guys some inspiration. Some more resources for having a sustainable summer. If you are interested in learning more about recycling, we do have a dedicated recycling webinar on our YouTube channel, which there's links to that on our website, which is www.kgmb.org. We also have a dedicated webinar to composting. If we were talking about composting in this webinar and that sparked your interest, go ahead and check out that webinar. We also have one on landfill diversion. So if you were interested in that beeswax wrapping or those reusable baggies for the perfect picnics, that webinar dives right into all of those great reusable options. Another way to stay involved is our Facebook page. We post on our Facebook every single day. We post easy tricks, tips, some fun videos. So make sure you give us a like on Facebook and follow along there. Thirdly is that Milwaukee Recycling Guide. If you are interested in learning more about what you can and cannot recycle, go ahead and check out that guide at city.milwaukee.gov/recycles. And lastly are some more staycation ideas. I only talked about a few. If you're interested in planning a staycation, you can visit visitmilwaukee.org. They have so many options, or travelwisconsin.com. Also has some great options for staying local, but feeling like you're on vacation. Great. Does anyone have any questions about Sustainable Summers? This was just kind of a fun webinar to give you guys some inspiration for the summer. If you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A box right now. If not, if any questions come up later this week or maybe later today, you can always email me. My name is Zoe and my email is just my first name, ZOE, @kgmb.org. Like I said, this webinar recording should be live on our website by tomorrow afternoon, so make sure to tell your friends, check it out. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. Happy summer, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you.